Our next speaker is Lazlo Westerhof, and he's going to be talking about an update on Yoda using iRODS to manage data throughout your research.
Thank you, Corey. So my name is Lazlo. I work at the Research Data Management Department and at Utrecht University. I work there as a system software engineer, and I'm part of a team of 9 people working on the management and development of the institutional service. And today I will take you on the journey of Yoda's evolution during the last 5 years. So first, allow me to share some facts about the university. We are founded in 1636, which makes us one of the oldest universities of the Netherlands, and with more than 45,000 students, we're also one of the largest universities. In our university, we prioritize 4 strategic teams at university level. The interdisciplinary research approach is really fundamental for a university. So when we design research data management solutions, we would like to ensure that we can support the collaborative requirements for interdisciplinary research. Now, when we were designing Yoda, we ensured that we could support this. And we first started with the Dynamics of Youth team and later expanded it to the other teams. The other 4 teams. So what's Yoda? Yoda is a system to preserve, share, archive, and publish your research data during several stages of the research process. It's an integrated research data management solutions, and it allows researchers to organize the research data and work according to the FAIR principles. And for a university, it's an important strategic development for reaching research data management goals. To give you some context, I will like to share some history about Yoda, because currently it's already a vital tool for a research community. We started with the goal of an institutional service that will be developed and maintained by Utrecht University. It was a cross-domain and archive and repository, which we developed completely as open source software. During those time, we also sustained funding by the board, which is delivered to the University Corporate Services. In 2015, we started as a production service with the first data package published in 2017. And Yoda was presented for the first time at the user group meeting in 2018. So let me share some statistics. We currently have more than 10,000 users, like you can see on the left. More than 8,000 of the users are users from Utrecht University. And around 2,000 of those, there's the light blue part, are external users, so that are users from other universities or institutes that are collaborating with researchers at our university. We reached the 3 petabyte mark in terms of storage. As you can see, so this number is the Q1 number of 2023. So the storage is growing very rapidly right now. And in 2017, the first publication was done. You can see that on the right, and we're now approaching 300 publications. So Yoda is built on iRODS. We have iRODS at the data integration layer, so that makes Yoda a vendor-neutral solution. On top of iRODS, we have our data policies and services, so that our rule sets are microservices, and the rule sets are written in Python and the iRODS rule language, and the microservices in C++. And in that configuration layer, we have the policies of our university. And on top of that, we have the user interaction layer. So we have a web portal, a network disk, and the I-commands, where the web portal is Flask portal using the Python iRODS client, and the network disk with iRODS. So those are the 3 ways we allow our users to interact with Yoda. So Yoda is all about managing sensitive data. So we use data compartments inside Yoda. Every research group has a research space and a vault space. These relate to iRODS groups, where the research space is created to collaborate on data, and the vault space is created to deposit your data and have a safe read-only copy. For a research group, it is possible to add members and select group managers. And it's also possible to configure a metadata schema that's mandatory for that research group. For each community, and that can be a group of research groups. There is not a structure in iRODS to do this. So currently we have implemented this as metadata on the iRODS groups. Per community, there a data manager can be appointed, and the cost calculation and invoicing is on that level. So to support the researchers, we have developed a couple of workflows in Yoda. And the first one I like to show is the data deposit workflow. So researchers start with a data folder and metadata in the research space. It can be data directly from a microscope, which the researcher would like to deposit and later on work on a read-only copy of the data. So the researcher can request to deposit this data. Then the data manager will check if the metadata and the data complies with the policies of the university and approve it. And after that, the system will create a copy of that to the vault space. From the vault space, we have a second workflow for researchers, and that's the fair publication workflow. And this makes it possible for researchers to publish their data package with a single click. So from a data package in the vault, a researcher can request for publication. Then again, a data manager will check if the metadata complies with the publication policies. So the data manager is really like the manager or steward of the vault. And then when it's approved, the system will also publish the metadata of the data package. A DOI will be registered, the landing page will be created, the metadata is sent to DataSite and also published to our own OEI PMH endpoint as a protocol for metadata harvesting. A small timeline. So we started in 2015 on iRODS 3.3. We started with a portal module, an intake module for the Dynamics of You project, and we added the group manager module. A year later, we also added the Yoda network disk, that's the DevRels module, and we migrated to iRODS 4, together with some support of dynamic modules in our web portal. In 2017, we added the research workspace. So those are all the workflows I just showed, and that also marked the release of the 1.0 version of Yoda, running on 4.1.1. In 2018, released several versions with most of the time improvements to the metadata harvesting and the metadata in general. And we upgraded from iRODS 4.1.1 to 4.2.5. And in 2019, we did some more metadata related stuff and moved to iRODS 4.2.5. After that, we did more stuff with metadata. One of the biggest things we did was change the storage format of our metadata from XML to JSON. So that got us easier validation, it was more flexible and somewhat readable for the end user. We did this with a bidirectional conversion between JSON and iRODS APUs. Together with Maastricht University, we have developed a library for this, which we presented at the 2019 UGM. With that module, we have the generic way inside iRODS to have metadata templates, validation of metadata, and also the user interaction. And the user interaction we do with the metadata form rendered with React. This just and it gives JSON output that can be written to iRODS. We also migrated a large part of our rule base from the iRODS rule language to the Python rule engine. While we were rewriting this rule set, we also developed a lot of generic wrappers. This rewrite brought us maintainability, more performance, the development speed increased, and we have access to more libraries and frameworks in Python and all the available tooling for Python. We presented this in more detail in 2020. On the right, there's a small example. So on the top, you have iRODS rule language function, which will concatenate two strings. And in the middle, you have the equivalent rule in the Python rule engine. And on the bottom, you have the same rule in our Python rule engine rule set, but with our generic wrappers on top of it, which create an API function which we can directly call from our web portal. So that was 2020, where we also upgraded to iRODS 4.2.7. After the migration to the Python rule engine, we also migrated our front end from the PHP client, the iRODS PHP library that I think is unmaintained right now, to the Python client. This made it much easier to build new workflows. We created two modules in our Flask front end, a communication manager module and an API module. So from the Flask front end, on the top you see, on the right you see the same rule as the previous slide from the rule engine. And we can call that from a front end using Flask Python or directly from JavaScript. And one of the biggest things that brought us is this modern web file uploads. This was also presented at the 2021 UGM. So in 2022, we've also added full teaming support, also supported by the much easier work in the front end. And we added some other user-related stuff, so user settings and notifications, and upgraded to iRODS 4.2.11. This in Yoda 1.8, it is the current release. For the next release, we're working on several things. One of this is the database. We have some performance issues, especially with our asynchronous processes in our in Yoda. And for example, when people were uploading many small files, we upgraded the database from 9 to 15, and this gave us a lot of performance improvements. And most of these problems are fixed. We also used this rewrite of our database role to prepare for OS upgrades, because sadly we're still on CentOS 7, which is end of life next year. So we also preparing to make our systems available for Linux 8 and Ubuntu 20. We're also working together with Serve on a new workflow, and that's the data archiving workflow. So when a data package is archived in the vault and it's not actively used anymore, a data manager can choose to archive the data package. So a data manager can request archival. Then the system will create a backend of this data package, archive it, and move it offline to the table archive. This saves both storage space, but also a lot of energy. So that was 2023, the current year. 1.9 is being released hopefully in the coming months, and it will be released on 4.2.12. So this March, we also launched the Yoda consortium, and inside this consortium, we like to safeguard the development of Yoda as a national RDM platform. And inside this consortium, we do effective collaboration on knowledge about Yoda, we give support to researchers, and also the product development. It currently consists of 6 Dutch universities and SURF, the National Collaborative IT Organization for Research and Education. And then some future work. So for the 2.0 release of Yoda, we really like to upgrade to iRODS 4.3.x. Really looking forward to migrate the rule set to Python 3. And we would also like all the asynchronous processes we currently have. They're currently running on cron jobs, but we want to move them to the delayed rule engine. Together with the OS upgrades. And there is one proof of concept we're looking forward to is the iRODS S3 client as an extra user interaction way with Yoda. We have also created the Docker test environment of Yoda. So this is a containerized version of Yoda, first developed for local development, but we're also start to use it for continuous integration. And it's also great for demonstrations. Not going to do that right now. More information for this is on that link. And with the 4 commands you see, it should be possible to run the Yoda environment on your laptop in a couple of minutes. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, that was great. Any questions? I think we got a question over here.
So we've heard from a few different other people in the community, hey, we want to run Yoda. We think that's great. Let's not build it ourselves. Looks hard. Do you have success stories of Yoda running in other places yet? I know that some people have tried it and either it didn't quite fit with their mental model or the policies were too not quite in alignment with what they would want to run, so they had to learn a lot. How does that?
There are some success stories. There are some. So we have now most of the other people using it are using it within SERP, so within the consortium. But there are some, Yodas appearing in the wild. One of this is in the FLI in Leipzig in Germany. They set up Yoda without any help. And we'll give a lightning talk on that tomorrow.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Congratulations on your consortium.
Thank you.
Throughout this whole journey of building Yoda, what was the most challenging parts of it?
I think one of the challenges we have to say in our team, if it's metadata, it takes longer. We struggled a lot with metadata and still struggling with it, but we're managing. So it's a part of our system that takes a lot of time. And another difficult part is the group management.
Interesting. Well, if you have ideas about, if you can let us know what those problems are so that we can come up with a solution and resolve those for you.
I will make the list.
Great. All right.